Welcome back to World of Warcraft Burning Crusade Classic Blind. We are heading to a new zone, so I figured now would be the best time to work on the whole talents thing. We currently have a mix of arms and fury, which doesn't serve our big, slow, two-handed weapon the best. So we are going to mix this up a bit.
What's on your mind?
Unlearn my talents. The rigorous retraining I've had to break many students of all they had previously learned, so I might teach them anew. The service I offer becomes increasingly difficult to perform each time it is done. It's for that reason that it becomes increasingly expensive with each retraining. Do you desire that I break you of the talents you have learned? How much does it cost?
What's your bet?
1 gold. Okay, that's fine. We currently have a solid 244 gold. I think this is the first time we've done this. There was like a whole reset of everything when Burning Crusade happened, I'm pretty sure. So we had to get stuff back when that happened. But this time, we're just resetting everything. Once you unlearn all of your talents, this will unsummon any controlled pet, and the cost will increase each time. Each time. Potentially there's a cap to that, but who knows. Slightly awkward if you want to try different things out. So, hopefully the disaster that we create here is functional enough. Except I've unlearned Death Wish, Piercing Howl, Sweeping Strikes, and Bloodthirst. Okay. Now we have 61 points to play with. I've got my handy sheet here of which stances things are in, because we also want to try out some Berserker stance. Some of these things don't work in Berserker stance, like Retaliation here. But we will worry about the bars in a bit. First thing we need to do is work towards Mortal Strike. This is going to be our main attack for using up a whole bunch of rage. Getting this here is a Vicious Strike, deals weapon damage plus 85 and wounds to target, reducing the effectiveness of any healing by 50% for 10 seconds. The weapon damage is the most important thing here. It's also instant and on a 6-second cooldown, which is acceptable. And then improving it reduces the cooldown by 0.2 seconds and increases the damage it causes by 1%. So, if we threw in 5 points into that, it would decrease the time by a second probably. So every 5 seconds, and does 5% more damage. Sounds pretty good. The real question is going to be, what are we going to be getting in Fury if we're going to be putting most of the stuff into arms? Because the first one here requires 35. So that'd be points 35 through 40. And then we could possibly get this. Endless Rage. 20% more rage. That sounds pretty good. So if that uses up 41 points, we're only going to have like 20 points we could spend in Fury, possibly. So that'd be things like, I think we would have just enough to not be able to ever get Sweeping Strikes. If we check our list here, Sweeping Strikes. That's Battle and Berserker. So, we might get to a point where we have the option here. Next time it is strike an additional nearby opponent. Because it requires 40, and then the 41st would go into here. And then this would require 20. No. We will get to base Mortal Strike and see how we're feeling. But in order to get there, we need to start by putting 30 points into the arms talents. And our first options are Heroic Strike, Deflection, and Rend. Rend, here on my list, only usable in battle and defensive. So if we're going to be mostly working with Berserker, I don't know if we really want to put any points in there right now. Heroic Strike is all, but we mostly have the Rage Dump is going to be Mortal Strike. So I don't know how much we want to put into Heroic Strike. Increases parry chance. Can we parry without a shield? Deflection. Not actually a ability or anything, it's just a thing. But I really don't anticipate getting much use out of Rend or Heroic Strike. So, we're just going to start this whole thing with some points in Deflection. Curiosity. How much does it cost the second time? 5. Acceptable.
Here there.
Thank you.
Watch your back.
Counts. Alright. Next up, we've unlocked these things with 5 points. Now to get to 10 points for the next set, we need to put 5 points in here. We have Charge, which is only battle. We have resistance to stun and charm effects. And we have improved Thunderclap, which again is only in battle. Is Fury the right one? We're getting a lot of stuff that's not available in Berserker stance. Here's improved Berserker stance. We're trying to go to Fury? Why are we going to Mortal Strike? Mortal Strike's good for my weapon. Maybe we want to be in battle stance. I'm not sure anymore. We're making mistakes. That's pretty clear. Alright. Things that were only available in Berserker stance. There's stuff like Berserker Rage, Pummel, Whirlwind. Here's improved Whirlwind. We still have Whirlwind. Fury, Berserker stance. It feels like we're trying to do, again, the opposite of what we're supposed to be doing, but we're trying. We're trying here. Cleave is in Fury. Where's that on here? That's all. That's fine. Here's Recklessness. That's Berserker. It seems like it's probably a bit of both. So, I'm going to elect to ignore that and continue working towards Mortal Strike. There's also the option here of switching between battle and Berserker for different situations. So, chance to resist stun and charm effects. I almost want the Thunderclap and Charge so we can switch to battle and have good stuff going. More Rage from Charge. Reduce cost Thunderclap. And more slowing and damage. I think having these, so battle stance is still useful, will help us a lot, giving us the option to switch between. I'm going to put him into Thunderclap and Charge. That opens up the 10 points ones. We've got Increase Improvement to Overpower. And Overpower is one that we don't use too often. Because we have to wait until the target dodges. And that's a lot for me to be paying attention to. Overpower is battle only. It also says right there. So I'm not too excited about Overpower. Generate some rage. That could be good. And this Deep Wounds effect is also pretty nice. Critical strikes cause opponents to bleed, dealing 20% of your melee damage average over 12 seconds. So you put 1 here, 3 here. And then to unlock the next set, we still need 1 more point in something. So, Heroic Strike, Rend, and Overpower are all pretty to me. So it's going to poke 1 here into Iron Will, just to unlock more things. Now we have some nice options here. Two-handed weapon specialization. I am really digging the two-handed weapon, because I don't really use the shield and a one-handed weapon, because I'm not really a tank or anything. And dual wielding suffers a pretty severe accuracy penalty, which does not help with our additional 8 hit chance here. Don't really need to take significant loss of accuracy when the two-handed weapon just works out fine. So I'm going to put in a whole bunch into two-handed weapon specialization. Increasing the damage, just always increasing damage by 5%, which is really nice. We still have the option to put some points into Impale. Increasing critical strike damage bonus of your abilities in battle, defensive, and berserker stance by 10%. There's 2 points we can put in there. So next up, we've got Death Wish. Definitely want that. I've relearned Death Wish. Fantastic. Mace specialization, polearm specialization, and sword specialization. Now I cannot be sure that every two-handed weapon I get is going to be anything in particular. So I don't want to shove a whole bunch of points into a specific one here. If this would be another situation where if you knew exactly what weapon you were going to be going and getting, you would have the information to decide what you want to put these points in the future. But so far this has been working out pretty nice. But I never know when I'm going to get a better sword or something. So I don't really want to put points in those. Or maces, or swords. So we're going to start by going back and getting Impale. We still need 2 more points. So we're going to head back and get more Iron Will. Just enough. Due to the next set here. Here we have Intercept. Which is the cooldown of Intercept by 5 seconds. Okay. We go back here. Intercept is basically the movement ability of Berserker Stance. Unfortunately, it uses Rage instead of gaining Rage like Charge does. But having that be more often usable would be nice. We also have improvements to Hamstring, which will give a chance to immobilize the target. Looks like that could be up to 15% chance of immobilization. That's not bad. Hamstring. Useful in Battle and Berserker. Perfect. A 15% chance to just stop the enemy in their tracks, assuming they can be immobilized. That could be useful for running away from things and such. Keep stuff... Also, it'd be good for running away and stopping things from running away. So, possible. And improved disciplines. Okay. Reduces the cooldown of retaliation, recklessness, and shield wall by 4 minutes. Increases their duration by 2 seconds. Okay. Retaliation. We got that right here. Counterattack for 15 seconds. A maximum of 30 attacks. But for the most part, I don't expect to be getting attacked every half second. But this could increase how often we could use that and how long it lasts. Probably up to 6 additional seconds. Decrease the cooldown by 12 minutes. That's pretty significant. Really only use these in very particular situations, though. So, not super keen on that. I will start by getting the improved intercepts. Just because that'll help moving around. So now our cooldown is 20 seconds. Very nice. And I think I will get the hamstrings. Whenever I'm trying to hamstring a guy so he doesn't run away, it's because I don't want him running into a whole bunch of other guys. And if frequently they just can't move at all, that would be pretty nice. And they'll be immobilized for 5 seconds. So that number doesn't increase. That's okay. And with that, we can grab Mortal Strike. And it also has ranks to it, so we're probably going to have to level that up. It also unlocks Blood Frenzy. Rend and Deep Wounds abilities also increase all physical damage caused to that target by 2%. Cool. And Second Wind. When you're struck by a stun or immobilize effect, you'll generate 10 rage and 5% of your total health over 10 seconds. Okay, that's something I was slightly worried about. Switching to this. Which one? I guess that's not an ability, that's just a passive. I'm always good for some passives. When you're struck by a stun or immobilize effect, you'll generate 10 rage and 5% of your health. So, previously we were using Bloodthirst to heal a tiny amount. This would heal us whenever we get stunned or immobilized. And it's whenever you're stunned or immobilized. Not like a chance or anything. Also, you get more rage, which is also nice. Don't know how well that would work with Iron Will here. We resist the stun, and this helps us when we get stunned. I think I'd still rather not get stunned than have 5% health back and some rage. But overall, that's pretty good. Rend and Deep Wounds abilities. I guess that's an option for Rend here being better. Deep Wounds only happens on critical strikes. Increases all physical damage caused to that target by 2%. I mean, we don't need the stronger Rend to make use of that. That's just another debuff that we can put on our enemies whenever. And that's just gonna be whenever that happens. Yeah. How long does Rend last anyways? That's only improved Rend. Here it is. 21 seconds. And this just increases the damage by a decent amount, still. So that'd be a 21-second couple percent damage buff that you can apply whenever. What's the cooldown on that? None. You just keep that going whenever you want for 10 rage. Probably not the best use of rage. But since we still have deep wounds going, we can get that. And Impale increases our critical strike damage bonus. That's something. And we get second wind. So that gives us to the 35 points. So now we can put into improved Mortal Strike. Since Mortal Strike is going to be our main thing that we use, having it just always do more damage sounds like a pretty solid idea. It currently has a 6-second cooldown. Previously we were working with Bloodthirst, which is also a 6-second cooldown. So that's going to work fine with our trinkets and everything. If we get down to 5, probably won't be able to get a third one in per trinket. But still, can use it more often. I mean, also assuming we can get enough rage. I guess that's why we want Endless Rage. If we generate more rage, we could use this more often. It's 30 rage. Bloodthirst was also 30, that's fine. I think just going all in on arms would work nicely. I mean, it's a package set here. You would assume just using it all would work nicely. We're just gonna go for it. And that unlocks Endless Rage, which we will also get. Don't think I want anything else in here. Rend damage, Heroic Strike, Overpower. Don't really need more in Iron Will. That's fine. Happy with that. So now we can look into Fury. What can we get here? We'll be able to get up to the things that require 15 points. And that's like Improved Execute, which is nice. But we won't be able to put 20 points in and then get Sweeping Strikes. That's okay. So our options here: Booming Voice and Cruelty. Chance to get a critical strike. Okay. Improving chance to get a critical strike could be a good idea. I mean, it's always a good idea. Critical strike damage of all your abilities by 20%. Yeah. If we combine that to get more critical strike chance with doing more damage when you do a critical strike. And probably some other stuff. Area effect and duration of Battle Shout, Northern Shout, and Commanding Shout. Currently we're looking at 2 minutes. That's not bad. That's something to put points in just when we have extra. It doesn't actually increase damage, but it would make it, eventually it's probably going to be like 50% more. If it's 50% on top of what it already starts at. So, realistically, 33% less often. I think we're going to just get the critical strikes to start here. Critting all day. Now we have options of Unbridled Wrath, chance to generate an additional rage point when you deal melee damage. We've got this one that's generating 25% more rage from any damage, so I don't know how much more rage we need here. This Demoralizing Shout improvement is nice. Basically, that's going to decrease the amount of damage that we take by a bit. Melee attack power reduction of Demoralizing Shout by 8%. So currently sitting at 300. So it's not like we're going to be taking 8% less damage or something ridiculous. It's going to be 8% more of the 300. But if we're going to be in Berserker stance, we take 10% more damage. So I'd like to take less damage. Also, Berserker stance has more critical hit chance in itself, so we're just stacking on the crits here. It's pretty great. I think I will improve Demoralizing Shout, though. So now it is 420. Nice. And that unlocks this stuff. Improved Cleave. Apparently only increases the bonus damage of the Cleave, which isn't as much. It does weapon damage plus 70. So this increases the damage by 40%, is only increasing that 70 by 40%. So it's not huge. And we also don't have sweeping strikes to add another hit to Cleave, so. What else we got here? We got Piercing Howl, which causes all enemies within 10 yards to be dazed, reducing movement speed by 50%. I like having that. Blood Craze. Regenerate 1% of your total health over 6 seconds after being the victim of a critical strike. We also have this one, which heals us when we get stunned or immobilized. That is 10%. This will heal 1%. And Commanding Presence increases the melee attack power bonus of your battle shout, health bonus of your command shout by 5%. Alright, so that's 5% more on top of the battle shout. It's not 5% more damage, obviously. But it's more in battle shout, which is just always useful. Regenerate 1% of health, or do more damage. Probably do more damage. I also like the Piercing Howl. What are we gonna get down here? 2 executes. And some enrage. Well, we need to get some stuff up here. So I'll start with getting Piercing Howl. Get that back. Increases attack power bonus. Or healing. How often would you get hit with a critical strike? That would heal 1%. So 87. Every time we get hit with a critical. And we can put multiple points in that too, so probably more than that. I think I'm just going to take some more attack power. Because we always have Battle Shout going. Increases melee attack power by 306. And now it increases it by 367, so just always more. Always more. Reduce the rage cost of execute. Do I really need that? Converts each additional point of rage into 21 additional damage. So by decreasing the cost by 2, we can really just use it sooner, I guess. Instead of getting that rage. I mean, we're going to be building up rage really nicely, so I don't know if that's really too necessary. Here is Enrage. 5% melee damage bonus for 12 seconds up to a maximum of 12 swings after being the victim of a critical strike. That's a damage bonus after getting hit by a critical. And that's healing after a critical. I'd rather have the damage bonus. We're going full DPS here. I'm going to go with Lemon Rage. And there we go. That is all 61 points. 41 of them in arms. And 20 in here. I unlearned Death Wish, but then I got it back. I unlearned Piercing Howl, but then I got it back. I lost Sweeping Strikes. Forever. Or until we change things again. But I couldn't have Sweeping Strikes and Endless Rage at the same time. So I think this will work. But now, we have some new training to do. Why are these in red? One strike rank? 2. One strike rank 3. 4, 5, 6. And Bloodthirst, we don't have either. Okay. Yeah, because that's all the way down here at 30 points. We lost Bloodthirst. We don't have Rampage. Still don't have Shield Slam or Devastate. We also don't have Bloodthirst.
Okay, good.
So that is going to move some stuff around here. Let us look at our book here. Currently have our battle stance thing going, but we do not have Bloodthirst anymore, so let's get everything. Yeah, Bloodthirst, not a thing. So we're going to need a new dump attack if we go to battle stance. And for this, it's gonna have to be Heroic Strike, I guess. It's not instant, though. What other options we have? Oh. Also, we don't have Sweep Strike, so I can leave. I'm going to need to look at this top bar to make sure it works for everything. Right, but you're looking Fury here. It's actually in arms. There's Mortal Strike. Requires a melee weapon. Ah, actually, looks like Mortal Strike might be everything. This is in the question mark category because I did not have Mortal Strike. Requires a melee weapon. That's it. So Mortal Strike. All. Very good. So that answers the question of what are we going to put into the always use slot in Battle Stance. Answer is Mortal Strike. Very cool. Do we get any of the other ones here? There was Rampage, Last Stand, Explode, Shield Slam, Devastate. I think those are all stuff over here. Special Toughness, Shield Specialization. Here's Last Stand. Don't have that. Don't need to worry about it. Sunder Armor, Disarm, Taunt. Concussive Blow. Yep. Shield Slam. Gonna take a wild guess and say Shield Slam is defensive. And Devastate. Right. Other one we didn't have was Rampage. That's down here. Alright, so those still are I don't know which stances can use them, but it's not important. So let's try to build up the bars here. This is our battle stance. We should still have most of these. The only thing we lost was Sweeping Strikes and Bloodthirst, and those are already gone, so that's fine. So everything else in here should still work. That'll be mostly the same as Battle Stance was before. We do have this hole now, though. So of the things we have here, which of them are only usable in Battle Stance and not Berserker? There's Charge, which we don't have in that spot. We already have Intercept in that spot correctly in Berserker, so that's right. There's Mocking Blow. That is only Battle Stance. Put that over here for right now. There's Overpower, which is already on the bar for only Battle Stance, so that's fine. And Retaliation. Okay. So Challenge and Shout works for everything. That's good. Blood Rage. Everything. Yep. Command and Shout. Rend. Rend is only battle stance. Okay. Battle or defensive, yeah. And then there's also Shield Bash and Spell Reflection. But that is shield dependent, so that's not on the bar at all. These are our battle stance only abilities right here. Here's Whirlwind. That's exciting. Berserker stance only. I still probably want Execute on there. Just to keep things working as expected. Here's that. We want Mortal Strike here. Pummel. Interrupts spell casting. Cool. That's more of a situational. Victory Rush we can put in the right spot. Just trying to make it as simple as possible to switch between these two. Then we have Battle Shout, which works. Blood Rage works. Blood Rage is already up here, so we don't need that on the bar. We got Hamstring. Thunderclap is battle stance only, so that can go. We can put Whirlwind there. We also need Shoot Gun. Want to keep that in the same place. Heroic Strike. Here we have Overpower. That is battle stance only, so that's fine. Here's Berserker Rage, which is Berserker stance only, so that's fine. Here's Berserker Rage, becoming immune to fear, sap, in incapacitating effects, and generate extra rage when taking damage. 30-second cooldown, and looks like presumably that's going to make you snap out of fear if you use it. Assuming you can use it during fear. Because having a 10-second window where you can be immune to being feared is slightly less useful. So that's good to have. Wasn't using Overpower there anyway, so that's fine. So now we have the sometimes kind of things. In the battle, we got Charge, Mocking Blow, Overpower, Retaliation, Rend, Thunderclap. So those are all here. Then Berserker, the Berserker only ones are Berserker Rage, Intercept, Pummel, Recklessness, and Whirlwind. There's Whirlwind. Which one was Recklessness? There it is. Cause critical hits with most attacks and be immune to fear effect for the next 15 seconds. Damage increased by 20. Damage taken increased by 20%. Cause critical hits with most attacks, eh? That's pretty exciting. That's why it is the special. Okay. Cleave. That's everything. I think what we're gonna do here. Now we have everything. I guess we have everything except for Slam here. 1.5 second cast. Slam the opponent. Nah. Victory Rush we got. Whirlwind is where it needs to be. We got the stance. We got the shouts. Yeah, everything on here that we would want. Requires shields, requires defensive. Yeah. Shield bash requires defensive. Got Sunder Armor. Always usable. Retain 10 rage points when changing stances. That's also going to be important. Let's see here. Got Death Wish. Intimidating Shout. Piercing Howl. Stone Form. Cleave. Shout and Shout. Blood Rage. Command and Shout. We don't have space for everything on the bars here, unfortunately. Any of these we want to get rid of. These are the battle only. These are the berserker only. It's just a heal. That all fits. I had one more spot here. Could put that, but of course not. Alright, that should be a start at least. So now in Berserker stance, we got this bar going. Going to need to learn the keybinds again, because we have slightly different stuff. Whirlwind. Sounds pretty exciting. It's in the AoE slot, which works. Take up to 4 enemies. Weapon damage from both melee weapons to each enemy. Well, I have a single melee weapon. I should bring another melee weapon with me, so it counts as another melee weapon. Of course, that wouldn't work. I think that is looking nice. I'm gonna play with some Berserker stance. We can switch between them. There was something about weapon mastery. No. Thought I saw something about switching between. You save more rage. That might have been in here somewhere. We don't have points for it, so wherever it was, it doesn't matter. Improving slam, sweeping strikes. Reduces dodge chance. Flurry. Improved Berserker Rage is over here. Which is interesting. Really seems like you'd want to have some combination of both of these. Because there's a lot of things that would synergize well. But there's Improved Whirlwind. Improved Berserker Stance, Rampage. Ah, here it is. Tactical Mastery. Additional 5 rage points when changing stances. Greatly increases the threat generated by Bloodthirst and Mortal Strike when you're in a defensive stance. Okay. I don't know if I would really have picked that at any point, so that's fine. There's also some stuff you could probably pick up in Protection if you wanted to, but this'll work. Well enough. We made it as far as we did with the previous bit of a mess we had. So I'm sure we'll do fine with this too. Is it optimal? Probably not. Very, very low chance of that. But I can work with it. Not like we're going to be getting into anything super crazy. At least for now. So I'm sure we'll be fine. Let's head to the bank. Getting some ore I found. Another Eternium. Nice pile of Eternium we got going. Yeah, we're still gonna need much more ore to make much more progress. Over here, anything we need to restock on? Not really. We got 13 more hours of dense sharpening stones, so that's probably fine. Also, there's a bank in Shattrath, so that's not a huge deal. And we can just make the sharpening stones with our hands, which is impressive. We got a few things to sell over here. Got these large prismatic shards from a mage that disenchanted some dungeon loot. Do a scan here. Most up-to-date prices coming right to me. Alright. Let's sell some large prismatic shards. Nobody's selling large prismatic shards. Or one person's trying to sell them for 400 gold. Unlikely. What was this before? It was like 30? Yeah. That's interesting bits of information there. I'm more keen to assume that 30 is closer. Can we find any histories on things? Greater healing potion, histories. Yeah, it only has the previous history. That's not great. Maybe not greater healing potion. What we got? Super healing potions? Yeah, it's only got 2 days of history. More information than I'd have otherwise, so. Let's sell these large prismatic shards in 2 stacks of 1 for the more realistic price. I don't think you're gonna get. That's not a minor healing potion. Okay. Let's X out of this, guys. Again, sell the prismatic shards. 2 stacks of 1. A stack of 21. Right. 30. It'll look like a steal compared to this 1 stack of 400, I guess. 400 gold. Nonsense. Alright. Serpent flesh. More of a market for that today. We tried to sell this earlier, and it came back to us. So hopefully we can get it sold this time. We also have these Scrolls of Intellect, which literally do nothing for us. So somebody else can have them. Not for much, but something. That should work. That should work. Alright. I think we're done here. Head back to the Outland. It just really makes all the sense to have the Hearthstone here. Grab our flying mount and fly over to the Flight Master. Because it's still a lot faster. Presumably the fast flying might be equivalent speed of the Flight Masters. For 5,000 gold, it better be. My goodness. Oh yeah. Inventory is nice and clean. Oh, and also there was... that's what that... There we go. We figured it out. We need to head to the lower city here and re-get a quest item that we mistakenly deleted. Need to find them. Let's go with the faster running around mount. So we need to figure out where we're going here. It was going to be... It was the quest to go to Zolman, Griffith's Note. We need to find Grifta. Grifta? Yep. Doing some smithing over there. We need to get our note back. Not you. We got repeatable quests, or daily quests, or whatever. We're gonna have absolutely ton of quests, so I'm not too worried about that. This Anachronist has the other faction quest that messes everything up if you do it. That's not right. What's those guys? Ah, here it is. Look at your shiny things. This guy's over at the market. There we go. We can do the... That's the cooking daily quest we can look at some point. I think a lot with the daily quest it's going to end up being... Go to a variety of locations. And a lot of them are going to be places we haven't been to, so we don't even know where they are. Since we still haven't done 3 of the zones. So I'm not too worried about that quite yet. Here's a bunch of people over at the arena. Let's get this letter back. Should be right over here.
What you want?
He does not have...
BC, yeah.
If we abandon the quest, we should be able to get it back. Since we destroyed the thing. Abandon Ushini's and get back.
Gotta get the food.
Okay. So this is not in Blade's Edge Mountains. So we'll go there at some point. But we need to have the note. It's in the Ghostlands, yeah.
Stay away from nothing.
There's the note. It sounded a lot like a previous quest that we did. And sometimes the quests are inconsistent with taking the thing back and deleting stuff after the quest is done. But that's okay. To the flight path.
Warm wishes.
And we fly to Sylvanar.
Die on this.
Fantastic. And we can start the next set of quests. Probably just filling it all up in our quest log. I still need to go back for that hat. That's absolutely a thing that's happening. But we got lots of space for quests. So we can grab a whole bunch of them over in Blade's Edge Mountains. And these regular level quests will be a good opportunity to learn Berserker stance a bit. Next time. Goodbye.